Welcome to another episode of Southern Hang. We've got four friends who met in college that decided to make a podcast. And we thought we'd get together and do this just to make each other laugh. Never did we think we'd get to the point of someone saying, "There goes Southern Hang, the best there ever was in this game." Then I got to thinking, great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what we've got here tonight. One podcast. If we casted pods, they might be better 9 times, but not this podcast, not tonight. Tonight, we cast pods with them. Tonight, we're with them. Tonight, we stay with them, and we shut them down because we can. Tonight, we are the greatest podcast team in the world. You were born to be podcasters, every one of you, and you were meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. I'm sick and tired of hearing about what a great podcast Smartless is. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it. And I knew I believed in miracles, but then I started thinking, what else do I believe in? Well, I believe in the soul, the cock, the pussy, the small of a woman's back, the hanging curveball, high fiber, good bourbon, that the novels of Susan Sontag are self-indulgent, overrated crap. I believe Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. I believe there ought to be a constitutional amendment outlawing AstroTurf and the designated hitter.
Yep.
I believe in the sweet spot, soft core pornography, opening your presents Christmas morning rather than Christmas Eve, and I believe in long, slow, deep, soft, wet kisses that last 3 days. Boys, let's talk about the best sports movies. Now, who's ready to show me the money?
Oh my. Red, how you love to give a speech. Ooh, that was good.
Well, we had a few things there, a little saucy, a little dicey, but you gotta keep it true to the game.
Hey,
I felt like I was Susan Sarandon all over right there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
I saw you winking at me. I didn't know what it meant, but now I know.
So somebody have a live chicken?
That's right. Got to take a curse off this bat. So I got to thinking, I don't know what episode it was. I don't even know what episode this is. But at one point we talked about a movie and our friend said it wasn't a sports movie. It was a rom-com. And I was like, well, I don't know that I agree with you, but whatever. Here we are. So I wanted to talk about sports movies and what makes a great sports movie. Like, does it have to be real? Does it have to be based on a true story? Does it have to be funny? Does it have to give you lines that you could quote to your friends as you're on a road trip? Like, does it have to be something that moves you? So, like, I don't know what the right answers are, but I wanted to chat about it a little bit and then go around the horn and see what you guys pick as your favorite sports movies. So what do you guys think? You got any input there?
Well, I want to clarify before we jump in here that I said that Bull Durham was a rom-com disguised as a sports movie. Just to be clear.
I can have the court read back what you said.
You.
I know what I said. You don't have to read it back to me like I was.
And I believe that you said that it was the number one, Sports Illustrated rated it the number one sports movie of all time. Somebody did. Maybe that was a different conversation, but I'm with you. Go ahead.
So what gives on a sports movie? Like, does it have to be real, or does it have to be a good story?
You mean like Dodgeball?
Yeah, it's a prime example.
Perfect sports movie. Comedy, sports, but it's about sports.
Yeah, there's competition in there. Some drama around the competition.
ESPN, sure. The Ocho.
I hear you, Cotton.
I mean, the Cotton quotes alone, there's enough. I mean, it's perfect.
Interesting strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him.
That's exactly right.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a dodgeball. Not at one point during this assignment did I think that movie would pop up into this story.
Yeah, it's the first one that popped in my head when you said it's not that it could be about any sport. Does it have to be real? Where were you going with it when you're thinking of like what has to be? Does it have to be real? What type of? Does it have to be a true story? Is that what you mean?
I don't know how real the real story is, but if you don't get a little misty eyed at the end of Rudy. You know, you don't even have feelings. That movie's incredible. But now, how real is it to the real story of Rudy Rudiger? I don't know, but it's a great freaking movie.
I don't think it's that real, right? Like I think they took some liberties with like what the story was. You know, watching some documentaries and listening to podcasts. Like I think they took the basics and then embellished a little bit.
Yeah, great flick.
It is. There is as a Cardinal fan, I'm an avid reader of Mike Rutherford and Card Chronicle, and every time Louisville plays Notre Dame, he puts out a post that he wrote, and it was like 10,000 words on how Rudy's dad was a terrible guy. And you go back and watch that movie, Rudy's dad was a terrible guy.
He was a dick.
But we don't know if that was true or not. If that part of it is true,
I don't know.
Does Rutherford say yay or nay? If it was even a true part of the story, or he was just a dick in the movie, and that's all we know.
I think he stuck to the script of the movie and was referenced multiple points in the movie that he was a dick.
Like the point in the movie where they were like all the starters came in and gave up their jersey, and you know they wanted Rudy to take their place as a player in that game or a starter in that game. Like apparently that never happened.
I need you to act like a captain. I believe I am.
That's right.
He never said it.
Attitude reflects leadership.
So any given
Wrong
Sunday,
side. Go ahead.
Any given Sunday, Rocky, movies like that didn't happen, but I think they're sports movies.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
So they're not true, but they're definite sports movies.
Oh yeah.
Well, and let's talk about.
Wait, Rocky didn't happen? He's not real?
He's got a statue.
I'm pretty sure they're about to do the Rocky run through Philly here coming up pretty soon too. There's like some form of run you can sign up for and get to run with everybody through Philadelphia up those stairs and everything, and it's like the 5K Rocky run or some stuff. Well, but that's a real movie. They're all 89 parts of that movie. I don't even know how many Rockies there are now. What is there, like 8 and Creeds and
there's 3.
I watch them all. Right? I watch them all.
Yeah.
Creed, he's got me.
Yeah.
Creed's got you.
Michael B. Jordan. Creed. Yeah. I'm in.
Yeah.
So what about like there's actors that have been in like multiple sports movies, right? So let's talk about a boy, old Kevin Costner. Tin Cup, Field of Dreams, Draft Day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Bull Durham. Yeah,
and fucking Bull Durham. Guys all over the fucking place.
What's the one where he's the pitcher for Detroit? Perfect Game.
Perfect Game.
Oh my god, that's right.
That is a rom-com dressed as a sports movie. but I watch it.
The fact that movie is just 9 innings, but then the time flip of the relationship, that movie is amazing too. Just of the how to show that and tell a story while he's in Yankee Stadium, right? Because the Yankees are the one, they're all screaming at him, and I mean it's an away game. Like the whole thing of that is just the drama that comes along with it. That is a good flick.
Was that the one where you cleared the mechanism and like everything went out of focus and he zoned in?
Yeah.
Shuts it down. That's
There's a scene in that movie where he is at the table, and I think I'm trying to remember if the little girl comes in. I think it's the little girl comes in, and she's trying to have a deep conversation with him, and he just goes, like he needs a moment. That moment, he's eating bread dipped in milk. If you watch it, he's just dipping bread in milk and eating it. And you think of a pro baseball player doing it. I always thought it was just an interesting thing. It's actually an homage to his dad. That's what he ate. That was a snack that his dad ate, and it was an homage in there that he put into the movie. I thought that was just an interesting little thing that nobody's paying attention to. He's just literally dipping it in like you would eat, a cookie or something dipped in milk. But the little girl comes to him trying to talk to him, and he's like, "Nope."
Yeah,
got to pause.
So, Red, you mentioned Tin Cup. So I have actually played that golf course.
Shut your mouth.
I have. It is shot. It was shot in Kingwood, Texas, which is where I moved when I first moved to Texas. It's a little suburb of Houston, at the Kingwood Country Club there. And I actually played the hole where he had the famous where he dropped the ball and hit, 12 times or whatever.
Did you put it in the water?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
How many did you drop and hit again, or did you go over the drop zone?
No, actually, though, the course, the guy that I played with, it was a member there, and he was telling me how much they changed it. So it was actually, they didn't really have the course set up that way. And like that famous hole is not even it doesn't even play that way, actually. But imagine that, Hollywood changing things.
It's how they do it. It's how they do it, man.
Also something else about that movie. It debuted like the, what do you call it? The premiere or whatever was in Louisville, because it was when Louisville it was 96, I think, or was it 96?
Oh, the Tiger,
when they had
Tiger
when they had the PGA, and the PGA was there, so they did
Tiger Woods,
opening in Louisville.
Nice. No, I did not know that.
Well, I do know that we came to visit you when you lived in Texas, and you did not take us to that course. You took us to some dog track.
I don't believe it was the dog track. Also, that was San Antonio, and plenty of good courses in San Antonio. I think we played the one where they had the rattlesnakes in the back nine. Did we play the quarry?
We did not. I got a ball cap somewhere. I'll find it.
Okay. All right.
Send you a picture.
Well, that's in Houston. I had moved to San Antonio when you guys came to visit, but Kingwood is a suburb of Houston.
Well, if they had these snakes in the back nine, that sounds more like Happy Gilmore. Maybe that's where they filmed with the crocodiles and everything else coming out after him.
Sure.
Beware Chubbs.
Nice. Well, also a sports movie or not, I don't know.
So speaking of
let
Texas,
our listeners decide.
Texas is strong in sports movies, right? You've got Varsity Blues, you've got Friday Night Lights, right? So, like, I know what everybody's picked. I don't think anybody picked those as part of their go-to, but those are big blockbuster hits.
They are. Absolutely.
If we were talking TV, I'd definitely be talking about Friday Night Lights, the TV show.
You like the TV show better than the movie?
I do. TV show's great. Coach, Mrs. Coach. Did y'all not watch the TV show?
I have not seen the TV show.
Don't know that I've seen an episode.
I don't know that I even knew there was a TV show.
I got no take on the TV show.
Is Friday Night Lights the one with the big?
I hang my head in shame for you guys. How come you all not seen Friday Night Lights, the TV show?
Is that the one where you got the chubby dude in the back of the truck that's got the pig and he eats maple syrup?
That's Varsity Blues.
No. That's Varsity Blues. All right.
No TV shows about that.
That's Billy Bob.
That's Billy Bob. All right. I got my Varsity Blues and Friday Night Lights flip-flopped. All right.
That's how I feel when people talk about NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, and whoever else that I don't know. I'm like, I know that song. Which one is it? And I got to put it together. Anyway, same thing.
Well, who's going to throw there out there? We got to get to a pick here, right? Put us on a topic, Sherm. You got a selection or
because Red's got feelings.
This is your show, so I don't want to be taken away from your.
Let's go to Sherman first. I mean, we've got to air some grievances, but let's go to Sherman first and see where we go, and then we'll take it from there.
My favorite sports movie is Blue Chippers. No, it's not. That is my movie, which is about sports. The shameless plug here on NIL, and we followed four kids, just chasing their dream to go to college.
Can we tell our listeners where they can check out?
They can check it right now on Tubi. You can go to Tubi and catch that. If you don't have that app, you can still buy it on Apple and Amazon. Wherever you buy your films, you can get it. Blue Chippers, The Next Man Up. And check it out. Support us. Appreciate it.
Not to be confused with the Shaquille O'Neal.
No, this is much better than that. Much better than that.
Shaquille O'Neal Blue Chips movie.
That little film.
I do like that. I do like that flick too. There's a bunch of.
I tell you what, that's you did a great job.
You did.
Appreciate it, man.
The guys who put that movie, it's awesome.
Yeah, that documentary is incredible.
I learned a lot too when they start talking about 5 stars. Now I can say, you know what? I know how, how many 5 stars are out there, and what 5 stars mean, because I learned that from Blue Chippers.
going in, I did not know why why there were 5 and 4. I didn't know there were 32 5-stars. That you put the pressure on a kid like that to go, as a 17-year-old, that now you've got to be, the best, because you're 32 of them means that they're projecting you to be one of the 32 selected in the NFL draft 5 years later.
A first
so
round
that weight that carries, the weight that carries through there is just a lot on a kid. So anyway, no, back to our grievance. Let's get into it. I picked Bull Durham.
I picked a rom-com. You picked a rom-com.
I picked a rom-com for my favorite sports movie.
A rom-com.
Absolutely. If I'm looking at sports movies and movies, just in general that are about sports, as you said, Red, it is the movie I quote the most. It's my top 3 movies of all time. Like, it's just one of my favorite movies. And I still hold to that it is a rom-com disguised as a sports movie, but it's all about sports. It's all about baseball the entire time.
I believe it's a sports movie. I think you've misassessed. I've gone back and I've watched the tape. I've listened to previous episodes. I think it's a sports movie.
You know what I think? Like, you talked about what makes a good sports movie, and I think, we talked about how Costner's in a bunch of these, and I think it's evident in Bull Durham, is that the actor playing the athlete's got to look like an athlete, and Costner pulls it off. Like, he looks like a ball player, and when he's and he's up there in the taking cuts left-handed, it's real. He looks like a ball player.
Some of the lines that are in there that go under, just under his breath almost. And my favorite one, I use it all the time, is when the bat boy says, "Get a hit, Crash," and he says, "Shut up."
Shut up.
I say it all the time. People will say something to me, and I just kind of turn and under my breath go, "Shut up." And it has nobody hears it. It's my favorite, and it makes me laugh. And whatever the thing is, and to this day, it's one of my favorite lines. I mean, there's so many good quotables in there, but that's the one that probably goes, kind of off the under the radar.
Yeah, there's a bunch. Yeah, there's a bunch in that movie. Yeah, you can just go one after another. Oh, meat.
Nuke
Lelouch on the mountain for the Durham Bulls.
Nobody calls them. Nobody. Yeah, they're not weary. No woman gets weary. Oh yeah, when he
woolly.
Yeah,
women do not get woolly.
Yeah, women get weary.
We're going to take it one game at a time, and good Lord willing, we'll get a couple victories.
The woolly, he can't even play guitar right. They don't even acknowledge that part of it. But his strumming of the guitar is pretty bad, and he's just upset with him for how he's singing. But yeah, there's so many like literary references in there. You had that quote with Susan Sontag, but there's also her quoting Walt Whitman, kind of going through different things. It's a good movie, man. It's a solid movie.
It's got all the things.
Sport movie.
It does.
On a scale of 1 to 5, Sherm, I give you a 5 for your selection.
For a sports movie.
For a sports movie.
But as a rom-com, get a 1.
I think you misjudged.
I'll take it. I will take it. My favorite part of this is that when you wrote and said, "What is your movie?" As I'm writing it, I'm laughing. Bull Durham. I'm typing it back to Red. And he writes back, "Would you write back?"
I think I said I knew it.
I think you said, so you agree or something.
Oh, you admit it. You admit it.
So you admit it. I laughed so hard. I was laughing before he even got the text. I was like, I'm waiting for this one. This is going to be good. I knew it.
Is the rom-com Susan Sarandon and our main character Kevin Costner, or is it Millie and Millie and her husband when they get married out on the baseball field? Is that the
it's definitely Crash.
Yeah.
It's definitely Crash and Annie.
Yeah.
There's been a Jared and I have talked about, we want to do we thought about doing it and taking it to the theater to shows, like actually do it as a play, because there's only like 3 sets that you'd even have to do. You could kind of roll through pretty quickly. The baseball field would just be a baseball field, the dugout. But then we've also talked about trying to see if we get the rights to do a second one. That's been out there. People have been trying to do that for a long time, of having like a new crew coming through, and Crash is now a coach. Maybe Nuke's coming in as a coach on another place or wherever it is. And
another player to be named later.
That's right.
I'd watch that.
That's a good call. You could do it like Cobra Kai. Just bring it back and do a series and roll through on that.
Should we take off?
Anyway,
take off.
It's out.
It's going to be awesome.
It's out there now. Now somebody's going to take your idea. They're going to be.
We pitched that so many times. I don't know. Somebody's going to jack it anyway. It's all good.
All right. Well, Cotton Dini, what do you got here, buddy, for your sports? What are you going to?
Well, am I going to get yelled at? Did we?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to get yelled at, aren't I? So I'm going to get yelled at. But so Sherm, Blue Chippers is right in the line with what I'm picking for here. So mine is a movie I watch probably once or twice. I watch it about every other year, but mine's a documentary, and it's about riding giants, and it's about the first guys that go from the States out to Hawaii, and it's the documentary about how they blow up surfboarding or surfing, and it's directed and narrated by Stacy Peralta. And man, I can watch that documentary over and over again, and I love it, watching all these guys going out to Hawaii from the States. And the Hawaiians obviously had been doing surfing for a long time, but these boys go out there, and it kind of makes it, where everybody was watching it. So it's Greg Knoll, Laird Hamilton, Jeff Clark, Mickey Munoz, and they're all in Waimea Bay, but it's a documentary. So, Red kind of got on me like, hey, I don't know if that's allowed to be in this, but it's it's one of my favorite movies to go watch. And I guess it's a movie documentary. It's on TV. It's a 2.5 hour long show.
A sports documentary?
It's a sports documentary about surfing.
Is a documentary another word, another type of movie?
I don't know.
So could you call it then a sports movie?
If you want to talk surfing, can we talk about Point Break instead?
Well, I was going to talk about that too. So I was going to, because they're in Waimea Bay. So they,
the original Point Break or the second?
Brody, there is no second one.
Don't even start with
don't start with the crap. Don't start with there's only one Bodhisattva. So Bodhi, they talk about, Waimea Bay, and they talk about which one's got the biggest wave and all that. And great flick. But man, I dig that documentary, Riding Giants. It's incredible. So
I have not seen that. That's now on my list. That sounds awesome.
So put it on there, and then while I'm getting yelled at, I've got a part 2, also a Stacy Peralta documentary, and it kind of goes along with some of Neil Wilding's band names. But Dogtown and Z-Boys, the Stacy Peralta documentary that is narrated by Sean Penn. It's about the first guys that started off skateboarding out in California, and
I know that one.
The Zephyr skateboard teams, and that's Jay Adams and Tony Alva and Jeff Ho. And so without these boys, there'd be no Tony Hawk. But I don't want to, but it's a documentary, but it's freaking incredible. And I watch that one probably once every other year too, because I'm like, man, I just dig watching that show. But I would imagine I could quote it, but nobody else has ever heard any of the quotes. So, there's no...
So back to Point Break.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the good text from Red, like, you're going to get yelled at. And I'm like, I know. But I was like, when I started going through my movies and which ones I really like, that's probably one of the ones that I watch more than some of the others. But it's a documentary, so I don't know. TBD to another episode with what constitutes of a documentary can be added into a movie conversation or not. There you go.
Is there a scripted movie about skateboarding that would qualify?
Gleaming the Cube.
Ooh.
Christian Slater.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was he a skateboarder? I thought he was a surfer.
Well, Christian Slater was.
Kelly Slater.
Kelly Slater's a surfer.
Yeah, shit.
Kelly Slater's a surfer. Yeah.
Wait, are we talking about Saved by the Bell? That's TV.
Isn't it Kelly
Slater? 90s movies.
What's
the movie surfer? Kids.
That's Kelly Kapowski and AJ Slater.
Thank you.
Saved by the Bell.
AC Slater.
Oh, AC Slater. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So there you go. I figure I was going to get yelled at. Red said I probably would, but yes. And then Point Break is a great surfing flick, and that's also high on my rotation that I see at least once a year. The Bodie and Johnny Utah.
Did you miss your calling as a surfer? Were you supposed to be a surfer?
Well,
was that what we're catching here?
Have you ever surfed?
I've surfed, and I've surfed in real ocean, and I've surfed behind boats. We still do that down at the lake.
Behind Toto, Roro,
nah, Roro boat. Roro boat can't pull nobody for not that boat, but I've got multiple buddies that have wake boats, and we can surf behind those.
When you say you surfed in the ocean, what are we talking here?
Well, the Gulf of Mexico, So maybe the Atlantic.
Body surfing?
Done a lot of body surfing and real surfing. You should have seen the surfboard my dad had when we were kids, man. This thing was like 12 foot long. It was humongous.
If there's a movie about body surfing, I want to star in that movie. I freaking love body surfing in the ocean.
Surfboard. All right.
Sherm's next documentary.
Surf, yeah.
Nobody's watching that. I'm not making that movie.
You're not making the documentary on body surfing.
Well, not starring Neil. No. I mean, maybe, but not starring Neil.
No offense taken.
Maybe you could write it. Maybe I can work with you. We can write this. Let's develop it out a little bit.
Sherman, maybe it's your next job. You take people out for deep sea fishing, and then you come back in, and you guys kind of hang off the shore a little bit, and you watch Neil and teach his class on how to body surf.
Oh, I could school some people on body surfing.
Filleting fish, watching. I like it.
All right, Wilding, get us back on track, buddy. I've diverted us over into
not have a documentary, and I do have a movie that's been referenced already, actually. So I don't know. I went all over the map on this one, but to me, I went with a movie that was made by a Saturday Night Live alumni that went on a great string of movies. Billy Madison first.
Oh, yeah.
And then his buddy Farley made Tommy Boy. And then Happy Gilmore in 1996. And so I chose Happy Gilmore. I just think, so you look at the cast, right? You got Julie Bowen, pre-Modern Family. You got Carl Weathers, post-Rocky. You got Bob Barker. How can you go wrong with Bob Barker?
Price is wrong, Bobby.
That's right.
Price is wrong, Bobby.
And then you got your boy playing Shooter McGavin, who eats pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
Nice.
Part two is about to come out, right?
Yeah, in July, here next month.
Yeah.
That is a funny ass movie, man.
That is a funny movie. That's my favorite. That's my favorite movie of him that he's put out.
It is, and it's lasted. It's still funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like it. So that's what I went with.
So we talked about golf before, and I told you guys I didn't play much golf. I never did, but every time that I ever went out, I ran and tried to hit the ball. Every time I went out, at least once when I was driving, just to do it, just to see if it could even be done. And I'm not very good at it anyway, so it didn't help. But fun stuff. That movie's phenomenal.
It holds the test of time. And I don't know what it's going to do at the box office with the second version coming out. I don't even know if they go straight to streaming services or what the current protocol is, but
yeah, I think it's
going to do very well.
Yeah.
Well, he's got that big deal with Netflix, so I think it has to be. Yeah.
He's put out a couple. What's the basketball flick he had with Anthony Edwards? That's a pretty good sports movie.
He was like a gambling guy or something.
Yeah, he's like a scout. He's a scout for the NBA, and Anthony Edwards is in there, and you got the guy from Yugoslavia or something, and that was a couple years ago. That's a pretty good flick.
I can't remember the name of it, but it is a good movie.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what you're talking about, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see it, but I don't know the name of it.
Yep. Yeah, he puts out some. What else he got? He got any other sports? Yeah, and he's a quarterback. He's a quarterback for the.
Well, he did longest yard, and
longest
he
yard.
did Bobby Boucher. He did
Bobby Boucher,
Waterboy.
Is that a sports movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that might be a documentary.
It's got all of it covered.
Checks all the boxes.
There are parts of that movie that are especially down in that part of the country that are. He sounds. I've spent some time there with Blue Chippers.
Oh, yeah.
There are some people that sound just like Bobby Boucher and his mom. Yeah.
Foosball's the devil.
And by the way, how many times when you play golf do you yell, "Find your home"? Like it's just
no, go to your home.
Go to your home.
Don't you like your home?
Yeah.
I like that.
What you got for us, Red? Give us the best.
Well, I don't know about the best.
Bring it home. Bring it home.
There's so many good movies, right? So I know we've been getting a lot of feedback about Mr. Cotton's sultry voice and how soothing it is on the radio. But what a lot of people may not know is back in the 90s, I think it was the 90s, he was eerily similar in physical appearance to our buddy John Lovitz in a movie, A League of Their Own. Right? So, the way it works is the train moves.
The train moves. Yeah.
That's right. Like I almost went there, right? But then it was kind of too easy, right? I thought about our boy, old fraternity brother again, Josh Carr. I used to call him Rue Baker from the movie Major League, right? Like a million quotable lines from that movie.
Saw him last week.
He been doing good?
Yeah, doing real good.
Miss me some Josh Carr.
Yeah, absolutely. Haven't seen him in a minute.
Good dude.
I think about, we referenced it in an earlier podcast about being able to hear Jimi Hendrix but not listen to him. White Men Can't Jump.
White Man Can't Jump.
The original. The second one, not so much. But the first one, big fan.
Oh, the second one with
Jack Harlow, man.
Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
It was better than what I thought it was going to be. But
what did you think it was going to be, though?
I thought it was gonna be really, really bad, and then when I watched it, I was like surprisingly okay with it. I was like, that ain't bad. Yeah.
He showed he could legit act at least.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing coming out of there.
Yeah,
but I'm with you. I like the original.
It's no Woody Harrelson. Yeah.
No.
It is no Woody Harrelson for sure. So then kind of went. I'm a big Denzel fan, right? So I was thinking maybe Remember the Titans. Gary Bertier cannot replace him on or off the field. Like there's so many good lines from that movie, and it's a good
strong
story.
Side.
That's right. Attitude reflects leadership. I think we mentioned that earlier in tonight's podcast. I even thought about The Natural, which I don't think we've covered. I covered a little bit of the intro, right? I don't know if you guys picked up on that about being the best that ever was in the game.
Yeah.
But
that's my favorite baseball movie. I love The Natural.
Well, it's a good story, right? It checks all the boxes. But I'm going to stay along the same vein as Neil from a sport perspective. And I'm going to go Caddyshack.
Yeah.
All right.
It's golf.
I had that written down. I had that one.
Golf is my vice.
Me.
There's a million one-liners. I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. Just the one-liners, the comedy. You look back and you watch some of the documentaries or movies, I guess, if they're interchangeable. But apparently, like Bill Murray and Chevy Chase were not friends and didn't like talking to each other. But they had one of the most memorable scenes from the movie in and of itself. And then, like the explosion scene at the end, the members of the country club, they weren't told about it. They put them all on a boat and took them out to sea and said, "Hey, we're going to take you out to lunch this day," and then they blew up the course and nobody knew about it. So like they got away with a whole bunch of things that, you probably can't get away with in today's environment, but makes me laugh to this day and still quote it to this day. So
that is a great movie.
If you kill all the golfers, how are we going to make it?
That's right. Not gophers.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I tell you what.
I thought you were going to go that Will Smith movie. Bagger Vance. I'm like, what other golf movie? I was trying to think of golf movies. I'm like, oh, Bagger Vance. Yeah.
That's got teeth too, though. I'm not gonna be honest. I'll be honest with you. That's a good movie too.
Yeah, I like it. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I know I've seen it a couple times.
I was thinking about old school movies that were sports movies, and you guys may or may not know these. And I know we've referenced, I think, on an earlier episode about watching like HBO, the movies on HBO and things like that. So I want to name 5 movies, and you guys rank them. These are old, and that's all relative. I get it. Bad News Bears.
1.
The original, The Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
Brian's Song. Do you guys know anything about that?
Never seen it.
I don't know Brian's Song.
I know the story. I know the story. And
Brian Piccolo and Gail Sayers. Story about Brian Piccolo.
Yeah, Chicago Bears.
Played by young Jimmy Kahn.
That one will hit you in the feels.
For sure. I still got it on VHS. And I've got a VHS tape player if you guys want to come over and watch it.
How many VHS tapes
you got a
do you
TV?
have for your
You got a TV you can plug in a red, white, yellow thing into it? You know?
I do. Come on with yourself. Breaking Away. Do you guys remember that one?
Breaking Away. The bicycle movie?
Yeah, about the little 500 up in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I love that movie. They go swim in the quarry, and they got the little short dude. And they have
Don't forget to punch the clock. And he wraps his hand up in the towel, punches the clock.
They need somebody else to step in because he hurt his foot or something like that. That little short dude jumps on the bicycle. That's a good flick.
Yeah, I know it. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
And then the last one is Victory. Do you guys remember that at all? Sylvester Stallone played a goalie. It was about a German POW camp. Pele was actually in the movie.
I do remember that movie. Yeah, it was an HBO one. Yeah,
it was an HBO one for sure.
Pele. Yeah, Pele. Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
Movie was awesome. If you haven't seen it, go check. I don't even know where to find it.
Do you have that on VHS also?
I do not.
Can we do a double episode? Double showing.
Let me do a little bit of legwork. See if I can find a yard sale gym or something somewhere. I don't even know how to find that movie.
You got a basement with wood paneling on it, and we can come down there and sit in the basement and have a double episode of Victory and Brian's Song.
That would be so awesome. That would make my day.
Listeners, if you're listening, we need a VHS tape of Victory.
Yeah.
And just email us at southernhang@gmail.com. We'll get the rest. We'll figure out the rest of the details.
If you got a couple of those big, fluffy, ginormous pillows that people sat on that was a chair, those big ass round chairs, that would make me
a beanbag.
Beanbag?
Yeah, big ass fucking beanbag in somebody's basement that we can watch this double episode. That'd be great.
Or just a big ass fluffy chair. Whatever you got.
I knew it had a name. Y'all, I appreciate
whatever you got, bring it.
Beanbag is a tough name to remember.
Y'all speak Craig Cotton. Hey, there's some times there that the brain doesn't bring back some of the words you're trying to look for sometimes. So.
Yeah. Well, as soon as you said HBO, I knew you were going Bad News Bears. I mean that was to me that was one of the ultimate. Watch that when you get home from school on HBO movies. And you got kids, pulling up to practice in motorcycles, smoking cigarettes, drinking beer.
Doing all the cussing, smoking, drinking, doing all the fun things. Doing all the fun things you should do when you're 12 years old.
You talk about films. I would like to have been in that pitch meeting when somebody walked in and said, all right, I got this story. I want you to just hear me out.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'd like to have seen that.
And back then, Sherman, they were like, yeah, that walks. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think we got a market for that.
Let's make some money. And they did.
They absolutely did.
They made like 4 movies. Didn't they make a bunch of them?
Mm-hmm.
They
went to Japan in one of them.
They did. Not as good as the first, obviously.
No.
All right.
So nobody went Rocky.
I had Rocky.
That's it.
I had Rocky down.
Which one?
I won. I had Rocky 1.
So
you'd go Drago?
So Cotton mentioned it. I told Redmond this when we were trying to pick movies. I thought about going Rocky 4, and then I rewatched it, and I'm like, oh man, this movie's not that good. but the fight scenes are awesome, and the training scenes are awesome. But what I remember about
you saying Rocky 4 is not good? What did you just say?
Rocky
like,
4.
if you said Rocky 5 wasn't good when they had
no.
But Rocky 4
the training scenes, the training scenes are awesome. The fighting scenes are awesome. And what I remember about Rocky 4 is the line out the Showcase cinemas when I had to go see it. Like, that's the first movie I remember going to see where like everybody was in the city of Louisville was at the theater to go see it.
James Brown's in there singing "I Live in America," and you don't think it's a good movie?
I think it's a great movie. Well, and then in the fight scene,
they start you off with the death of Apollo Creed. I mean, you're like, what? Apollo dead?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, but then some of the surrounding stories not.
But the montage of it. Every time I hear the word montage, I think of the movie Team America. I don't know if anybody watched Team America, but they made fun of it. And there's a whole song about we need a montage, and they're doing a montage while they're singing about a montage. Oh. Anyway, great movie.
So
South Park guys.
I've got a. I don't know if it's an honorable mention. It's probably like a poor mention. But before the boat of Zaya became a surfer, did y'all ever see when Patrick Swayze was a hockey player in Youngblood? Have you ever remember that movie? Youngblood with Rob Lowe, dude. That movie. I used to love watching that flick, and then Rob Lowe's like the badass fast skater, young kid, but can't take a punch and gets beat up, and he comes up hanging. And it's actually Keanu Reeves in that flick too. It's Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. They're both in Youngblood.
Keanu Reeves is on that?
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is on the team. He's on the hockey. He's on the hockey. Get it together, Red. Get it together. Get that voice in tune, buddy.
Yeah, Youngblood was an awesome fucking flick.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm ready to do it again. I'll come back with a better pick. Let me think about my movie.
I'm a little shocked nobody threw out Hoosiers.
Oh yeah.
Little Gene Hackman, Dennis Hopper, make him chuck it from the cheap seats.
Run the picket fence.
Right? Jimmy Chitwood. Yeah. It ain't even
solid.
I feel like I quote that movie all the time too, because you go and when he goes and he drops and measures and like the baskets are 10 feet, like that's iconic. That's an iconic scene.
You probably did that with your first grade team when you were teaching them how to set a pick, knocking the other team off their feet and everything else.
When they're getting nervous about the tournament, I said, "Listen, guys," and we only had to go 8 feet. And I said, "Look, the baskets are still 8 feet."
All right, boys. Anything else we forgot to mention? Honorable mention or anything else? A little throwback we forgot to talk about?
I'm sure there's a bunch.
I mean, Major League was on my list. I know you kind of mentioned them briefly. That was a great movie. Like that was, that was like.
I think that was a slapstick built around a sports movie.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't a rom-com. It wasn't what's the dude who played Sniper? What's it? Tom Berenger and Rene Russo?
Yeah, they understood the assignment.
Mm-hmm.
It's solid. It's solid stuff. It is solid.
Roger Dorn playing third base.
Yeah. Ricky Vaughn coming in from the California Penal League.
That's right.
The music kicks in. He walks out of the dugout or out of the bullpen, and
with the glasses on.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, bartender, Joe Boo needs a refill. All right, boys. Well, I feel like we covered a good mix here of sports movies, little throwdown memory lane. We've got some homework. I'll work on getting the wood paneled basement so we can get together and watch Victory. Hopefully one of our listeners has it on VHS or maybe even DVD. That'd be a specialty item for sure. We pay top dollar for that kind of thing right now. We'll see if we can find out. But I feel like we did a good mix here on catching up some sports movies. So,
yeah.
All right, boys.
Good times, fellas.
See you guys next week.
Catch y'all next week.
All right,
now. Let's play 2.